Hello, I'm Yolanda Snowball.
I'm Armando Ortega.
People call me Snowy.
Folks call me Mando.
We've been married for 24 years.
Together for 27. We met through a mutual friend. He and I were doing a play together. On opening night, he told me his friend, Snowball, was coming to the show. I responded, "You invited your coke dealer to a Shakespeare play?" He told me her given name is Yolanda Snowball. When we met after the show, I asked her, well, what kind of name is Snowball?
Well, my daddy was Willie Snowball Jr., so there had to be a Willie Snowball Sr.
She cocked her head to the side and smiled beguilingly, and I was on the journey. I didn't know where we were going, but I knew this person would teach me many things.
Not so fast. Now, we didn't see each other for nearly a year after that. We had a couple of near misses at another play he did with my friend. And then we finally started talking at a mutual friend's party where we both arrived ridiculously late.
Yeah. We started seeing each other after that for about a month later. We started seeing each other.
Now, neither of us knew what we wanted, but I knew that when I saw his apartment, it looked like a college freshman that lived with an actor.
She told me, no matter what happens between us, I want to help you make yourself a home.
Now, Mando and I were dating for a few months when my mother, Annie Bell Banks, asked me on a long distance line if I was seeing anyone. So I said, yes, but I don't know where it's going. And she said, well, we seldom do. And I said, well, yeah, but his name is Armando Miguel Ortega. Silence on the other end. And then she asked, is he good to you? And I said, yes. And she responded, that's all I ask. And nothing else was ever said.
I talked to Annie Bell on the phone several times. She could never get my name right. I was Antonio, Alfredo, Alejandro, anything with an A and an O. She finally settled on Jose Muchas Gracias because she was grateful for me taking care of her daughter. Unfortunately, we never met in person because she passed before we got the chance. We dated for a year and then we moved in together, but we kept our separate phone numbers so my mom wouldn't know we were living in sin, which, as it turns out, was North Hollywood. Living together was problematic for a staunch New Mexican Catholic mom. Adding insult to injury, Snowy is not New Mexican.
Fast forward 1 year, we got engaged. Now, I gradually met the 5 Ortega brothers. Now, one was completely in our corner. 2 openly voiced their disapproval, and 2 were happy if Mando was happy. Now, his sister was living in London at the time, so she didn't have time to weigh in. Now, it is more than a notion trying to meet 6 siblings of your Latinx Catholic fiance. Needless to say, I was not what the family had in mind for him.
That included my mom, Eloisa. Dad had a stroke 7 years before. He was an invalid, and my mom was taking amazing care of him at home with the help of my brothers and healthcare nurses. I would go to Albuquerque, my hometown, frequently during that time. I suggested many times that Snowy should join me so that my mom could meet her, but she kept saying, I'm not ready. The unspoken expectation in my family was that we would keep our New Mexican blood strong, which was a little ridiculous considering that we are totally mestizo. Part Spanish, part Mexican, part indigenous, Mexicano, Indio, and part French Canadian. As they say, parts is parts.
There were obvious reasons why Alyssa might not have been ready to meet me. I mean, what we like to say, it was because I'm not Catholic.
Now, I had been a recovering Catholic for many years at that time. During the period of our engagement, I would remind my mom of our wedding date, October 25th, 1997, but she couldn't seem to remember it. Calling her from LA one afternoon, I'd had enough. I finally told her to get a pen and put our wedding date on the calendar next to the wall phone in her kitchen. But if she didn't fully support our union, she shouldn't come to the wedding. You have to grow up sometime.
Finally, in August, before our October wedding, we went to Albuquerque together. Eloisa, a great cook and hostess, planned a dinner at the family homestead so that we could meet. Now, do you remember the show Big Valley? It was a Western with Barbara Stanwyck, and she was the matriarch. She had sons and one daughter, and she ran that ranch. That was my mother-in-law. A powerful matriarch. She was Barbara Stanwyck. She was a little shorter, this is true, but she was Barbara Stanwyck. So here we are. Mondo's 10-year-old niece made me a string bracelet for good luck because she said, you're gonna need it.
We were understandably on edge. Would this cause a serious family rift?
And I didn't want to be responsible for that.
Snowy bizarrely lied about her age at dinner, making herself 4 years younger.
I don't know why I suddenly became sensitive about being a little bit older than him. Yeah, well, and then one of the brothers encouraged me to try green chili for the first time. Choking and coughing, that made a lot of laughter at the table.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a test. But my mom, she warmed up to Snowy during dinner, and in the course of conversation, Eloisa said that she had a dental appointment the next day, but none of us kids were available to take her.
So I volunteered to drive Eloisa. Now, she really was a tough ranch woman. She grew up on a 20,000 acre spread outside of Las Vegas, New Mexico. Now, she didn't like the way Novocaine made her feel, so she got dental work done with no anesthesia. Nothing. Okay, so I volunteered to drive. I drove her all day that day. Morgan Freeman ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah, you were driving Miss Eloisa.
Okay. So now after the dental appointment, I thought she'd want to go home and rest. She wanted to go shopping for dinner. So we had some words about this until finally she gave up and let me drive her home and begrudgingly wrote me a shopping list. And I went and did the shopping.
After another great dinner that night, I was helping my mom with the dishes. She said, Yolanda is a very good person. I said, Mom, yeah. You and Dad taught us to be good judges of character. Did you think I would choose to be with a bad person?
Well, Eloisa did come to her wedding, and so did all the siblings who were able to.
We honored both of our cultures in the celebration. We had a mariachi guitar duo and a jazz guitarist. My best man sang traditional Mexican coplas. Those are couplets that advise the newlyweds on how to create a strong union.
We jumped the broom, a Black tradition symbolizing the start of a new home. And our celebrant had the entire congregation jump the broom as they left the church, Eloisa included. Through the growth of our marriage, my relationship with Eloisa also grew. We shared a mutual love of beautiful sunsets, Christmas, good food, good wine, and Armando. By the time she passed, I was a favored nation. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Every interracial marriage ends